Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We've got this fascinating stack of source material right here.
It's pretty incredible.
It is. It's a series of play-by-play reports detailing, well, road chaos and these split-second near misses from Thiruvananthapuram, India.
And they're from late 2025, early 2026.
Exactly. And the whole thing is framed by one core theme, which I think is just perfect. Your life is worth more than the 30 seconds you save by speeding.
That's it right there. I mean, what's so compelling about these sources isn't just the wild stories, it's that philosophy. It's not about traffic rules as much as it is about, just valuing human life over a tiny bit of efficiency.
Right. So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're not going to get bogged down in the geography of it. The goal is to pull out these universal, life-saving principles of defensive driving from these, some of them are terrifying anecdotes.
They really are. And, the street names, whether it's Anacottle Street or the NH66 bypass, they're just names. They're incidental.
The risks are what matter.
The risks are universal. The failure to maintain space, that dangerous impulse to just squeeze through a gap, assuming you'll make it.
We see that every single day.
Every day in every city. So for you listening, we're basically turning these other people's close calls into practical, immediately useful knowledge. A way to sharpen your own driving instincts without having to nearly get hit yourself.
Okay, so that idea of a near miss in a tight space is the perfect setup for our first point. We've called this one the Anacottle Squeeze. This took place late in the afternoon, New Year's Eve, 2025. Picture a narrow, really bustling two-lane road.
And the scene is just classic city traffic, right? Low speed, but the density is incredibly high. The driver who wrote these notes, they're being careful. They're navigating around an auto rickshaw.
A car, a few scooters. And this is the critical part. There's a huge, heavily loaded lorry coming towards them.
So compliance is mandatory. You have to move left, you have to slow down. There's no other option.
And this is where that caution is just met with monumental recklessness. A blue scooter comes along. The rider isn't even wearing a helmet and decides that this exact moment, this highly constrained moment, is the perfect time for an overtake.
And from the left side.
From the left.
Which is, it fundamentally breaks the social contract of the road. It's not just that it's illegal in India, it's that it's inherently unpredictable everywhere.
Right. You expect a car to pass you on the right. Your attention is focused there and ahead.
Exactly. So when someone darts out from the left from your blind spot, you're not prepared for it.
And the source material really drives home the complete lack of spatial awareness. It says the scooter missed the vehicle's side mirror and front tire by maybe an inch.
An inch. If you can measure the gap in inches, you have already failed completely.
So why do drivers do this?
That's the key cognitive insight, isn't it? We see drivers confuse what's legal with what's safe all the time. But this is more about normalcy bias.
Normalcy bias.
The idea that because you've gotten away with a risky move 99 times, the 100th time will be fine too. They see a gap, and their brain just sort of confirms the success they're already expecting.
But that assumes perfection from everyone. Not just them, but everyone around them too.
Exactly. When you ignore a fundamental rule like maintaining space, like the 2-second rule, you eliminate any chance for recovery. Think about it. If the observing driver had to slam on the brakes...
For a pedestrian or something.
Right, or the lorry swerved, that scooter rider's reaction time would have been zero. Absolutely zero. They are 100% relying on the other driver's perfection.
The person who wrote these notes, they actually captured the strain of being that defensive driver. They wrote this little bit of prose.
Oh, this is good.
Oh, the solid white line blues, a risky game you play. When you cross the center line and throw good sense away, you cannot see what's round the bend. A life can change or quickly end.
Wow, that's powerful. It tells you they weren't just taking notes, they were genuinely terrified in that moment.
It speaks to the emotional toll, right, of having to constantly anticipate the failures of every other person on the road.
It's exhausting. And it tells you that the only real defense you have is giving yourself physical space. That prose is born from that split second of panic when you realize someone else just gambled with your life.
For what? To save 3 seconds?
If that. So the big takeaway from the Anacottle Squeeze is all about predictability. Keep left, overtake right. The moment you try something illegal, blind, or unpredictable, you're making a bet that no one else will make a mistake. And that's a bet you will eventually lose.
So that squeeze shows us the danger in low-speed, narrow chaos. But what happens when drivers take that same zero-margin mentality and bring it to a high-speed environment?
Now we're getting to NH66, the phenomenon of slanting.
Yes, let's go there. So we're on the NH66 bypass. This is a major artery, much faster road, and the source says drivers here treat lane markings like they're just suggestions.
It's like chalk that can be smudged.
Yeah.
Yeah, this gives rise to what they cleverly dubbed the air car guitar.
The air car guitar. I love that. Is that because the driver is swerving so violently they look like they're playing a ridiculous imaginary instrument?
That's exactly it. It describes that diagonal, sharp-cutting motion, just to that 2 car lengths ahead. And we have 2 perfect examples from January 2nd.
Okay, lay them out for us.
First one, a blue Renault Kwid. It performs this sharp, slanted entry, just cuts from the left lane over to the right. The observer had to slam on their brakes and ended up dangerously close to a concrete barrier.
Okay, and the second one.
Minutes later, a blue Hyundai Eon, same thing, slanted entry, but this time, critically, with no indicator. The result was the same. The observing vehicle had to swerve hard, this time toward the median, to avoid getting hit.
The source is so specific here. It calls this a 10-degree cut. Why is that angle, that sharp slant, so much more dangerous than a normal gradual lane change?
It's all about eliminating the time buffer. A safe lane change is a low-angle glide, maybe 3 degrees. It gives the driver behind you time to see you, to process that you're moving over, and to adjust their speed slightly.
But when you cut it 10 degrees,
You're moving sideways at a high rate of speed. You are basically appearing almost instantaneously in the other driver's lane.
right in their blind spot.
Not just their blind spot. You are creating a sudden closure rate that they cannot react to safely. And this connects to the bigger picture of defensive driving. You've just eliminated their escape route.
What do you mean by that?
They're now pinned. They're pinned between your reckless maneuver on one side and a barrier or another car on the other. They have nowhere to go.
Let me just challenge that for a second. What if a driver just, they had to exit suddenly or they missed their turn? Isn't the 10-degree rule a bit too strict if traffic sometimes demands a quick move?
That's a fair question, but the answer has to be firm. This isn't about convenience, it's about physics. If you have to make a maneuver that violates that safety cushion, then the real failure happened 10 seconds earlier.
When you weren't paying attention.
When you didn't anticipate your exit, or you accelerated too aggressively. Defensive driving means you manage your path so you never need to make an urgent, dangerous cut.
So the fix is just non-negotiable adherence to this rule. Use indicators, check mirrors, and move like you're gliding, not slashing.
You need that clear safety cushion. It's not just about distance, it's about time. That time buffer is the currency of defensive driving. You give the other driver space because space is the only thing that translates reaction time into physical distance.
And the risk of daring them to hit you is huge compared to the zero benefit of saving maybe 5 seconds.
Which brings us perfectly to our third incident.
Yeah.
This one is where the thrill of the maneuver clearly outweighed any thought for the consequences. The bravado on the Akalam Bridge.
Right. This happened just a few minutes after those bypass incidents. Traffic is slow now, maybe 25, 30 kilometers an hour,
A perfect stage for what the source calls a cringeworthy display.
by a rider on a sports bike, a Hero X Pulse.
This is a textbook example of prioritizing a look over actual safety. The rider starts this high-speed lane weaving, what the source calls a gangster pose, just trying to look aggressive or cool.
And the proximity, the closeness here, is a really terrifying part. He's weaving at speed through this slow traffic, and he squeezes through an absurdly tight gap.
Describe the gap.
It's between an Audi A6 on the right and 2 scooters on the left, and one of those scooters is carrying a small child.
And the notes are just chillingly precise on this. The handlebar of the bike was less than an inch from the blue safety railing on the bridge.
And at the same time,
Less than an inch from the observing vehicle's front tire.
that's zero lateral space
Yep.
at speed. I mean, weaving at 30 kilometers an hour through a gap that tiny means any little thing, a bump in the road, a gust of wind,
Or the driver just shifting their hand on the steering wheel.
would cause a collision. A collision involving a kindergarten.
This is where that concept spaces life becomes. It becomes mathematical. Why take that risk? It often comes from this delusion of control.
The idea that I'm a good driver, I can handle it.
Exactly. My skill can beat physics. But the moment you eliminate that last inch of space, you eliminate your margin for error for things you can control, like the wind hitting the side of that bike or the Audi driver adjusting their line by half an inch. The rider would be done.
And the consequence isn't just a scratch on a car. This was putting a child's life at extreme risk.
For what? To save 2 seconds, maybe? The safety implication is so simple. Space is life. You need room to maneuver. You must maintain enough distance, both sideways and front to back, so that if someone else messes up, you don't instantly become a victim of their failure.
It feels like every violation we've talked about, the left overtake, the slanting, this weaving, it's all driven by the same flawed calculation.
It is. It's a complete misunderstanding of the risk-reward ratio. And in this case, the source brings up one last crucial rule for the writer. Helmet up.
A cool look is no match for a concrete curb.
That's the one. Wearing protective gear is the ultimate admission that your own personal risk management might fail.
Okay, so let's consolidate this. Let's boil this powerful on-the-ground experience down into the core safety rules that we all need to internalize.
Let's do it. Rule 1 from the Anacodal squeeze. Keep left, overtake right. Simple, predictable, safe.
Second, from the air car guitar on the bypass, adhere to the 10-degree rule, no slanting, glide, don't slash, use your indicators, find a clear safety cushion.
Third, from that terrifying moment on the Aquilam Bridge, space is life. An inch of clearance isn't enough. A 2-second following distance is your best friend. Cutting it close gives you nothing and risks everything.
And fourth, the non-negotiable insurance policy. Helmet up, buckle up, protective gear matters.
And if we just circle back one last time to that central wisdom, it's all about time. The source notes you'd much rather be known as Mr. Late than, tragically, the late Mr.
That one word changes everything.
That defines everything.
Wow. That is a potent conclusion. It perfectly sums up how these very specific, localized incidents of recklessness, they reveal core principles that apply everywhere. The failure points are the same in Thiruvananthapuram as they are in Texas.
Absolutely. And let's build on that for a second. On that idea that your life is worth more than 30 seconds, I want to challenge you, listening right now, to think about the true cost of those saved seconds.
Go on.
Okay, so you speed, you weave, you cut corners on your commute. Let's be generous and say you save 1 whole minute.
Which is a very generous estimate.
Very. But what's the cost if one of those reckless moves causes even a minor fender bender, a tiny little tap?
Well, your whole day is gone.
Immediately. That collision costs you 3 hours waiting for the police, dealing with insurance. It costs you your deductible hundreds of dollars. It costs you higher premiums next year. It costs you time off work dealing with repairs.
You're trading 1 minute saved for 3 hours minimum of pure stress and expense.
Precisely. The risk-reward calculation never, ever favors recklessness. It's a time deficit just waiting to happen. The cost isn't just the impact itself, it's the entire miserable, time-consuming, expensive aftermath.
That really puts the impatience of rush hour in perspective. A total truth bomb. So take these hard-won lessons from the streets of Thiruvananthapuram, embrace that safety cushion, and apply them to your own daily commute no matter where you're driving. Thank you for diving deep with us.